But right now we have to focus on one more company. Lupin has gone out shopping and they've acquired American firm Symbiomics Therapeutics for $150 million. This is the one big drug that is supposed to be a fillip for the company. They say that the cash flows from the deal over the next 3 years could be significant. We have Ramesh Swaminathan, CFO and ED of Lupin, joining in. Ramesh, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. Oh, okay. I think we've just lost that line, but we will try and redial back. It's okay. I think we've got Ramesh back. Ramesh, so this is one drug in the gynecology segment. You have 10 years exclusivity. How much money are you hoping to garner in terms of sales? Some numbers, some timelines?
Yeah, thank you for having us on. This is an infection that actually impacts about 21 million people out there in America, and there are about 6 million prescriptions. So assuming, we have not decided on the price point as yet, but it could be between $150 to $200 per prescription. So obviously, just do the math, and it's obviously a very large market out there. And if you were to look at about 15-20% of that, we are looking at least figures of about $200 million. This is a kind of a unique proposition because it is actually a single-dose oral treatment, which is very differentiated from anything else available in the market today. And that is one of the reasons why we are fairly bullish about this product. And the good thing about it is that we actually enjoy 10 years of exclusivity. We've had one product before, Antara, which is with us with some exclusivity, but this is one product, which is again, which is 10 years of absolute exclusivity.
Okay. Ramesh, good morning. When does it start giving you revenues? FY19?
Early part of next year is when we actually want to launch it. So we still have drawing up various issues, the marketing plan and all of that.
But early part of next calendar year. So that will be early 2018. So FY19 is the first year of results coming in.
Sales revenues could be captured. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Ekta?
Hi, Mr. Swaminathan. I just want to shift focus away from this particular acquisition because I think most of it is already known from the conference call. Wanted to address the Goa EIR. There's a lot of expectations and you've spoken about it before as well. When exactly can we expect the establishment inspection report? Have you heard anything from the US FDA, or what is the status currently with the Goa facility?
As I said before, we do not expect any kind of escalation on that. As far as we are concerned, we have made all our answers very clear. And we are very optimistic about getting this as, within the next few days, so to speak.
Few days for the facility? Few days would be probably this month, or?
Few days could be, a few weeks or whatever. But the fact is, we do expect it to be resolved at the earliest.
Okay.
It won't take too long.
Okay, would that be the same idea for the Pithampur facility as well, Unit 2 as well as Unit 3? I think they had 5 to 6 observations each. So what would the status be on that?
We do believe that even that will not get escalated and it would get resolved within a short time frame.
Okay. The trend that we seem to be noticing now, Mr. Swaminathan, and I wanted your thoughts on this, is it generally the case that the US FDA is now issuing an EIR and then eventually the approvals start from the facility? Hence, is that the kind of trajectory that we can expect for Lupin as well?
Well, we have come across several instances where product approvals do happen and the EIR follows later. It's happened with us also. So to the extent it's not necessarily a pattern that is established. We're just hoping that the issues and the EIR comes back as early as possible.
Okay. How exactly is the US market looking in terms of US FDA approvals? Because there is a school of thought that the US FDA is ramping up approvals much faster now, and that would be a way to sort of combat, that would be a way to sort of increase competition, hence increase pricing pressure as well for players, but it would be positive for consumers. Is that the trend that we're noticing this year, especially with the change of guard that's taken place with the US FDA, faster approvals?
Yes, you're right in saying that GDUFA has actually, expedited approvals. And those with, in fact, a very rich pipeline could expect, in fact, a bonanza. In our case, for example, we've got about 120 odd products, but we do expect about 200 odd to be cleared. So launches within the next 2 to 3 years, so to speak. So we do expect that to be in our case at least, certainly a beneficiary thing. But having said that, it's a two-way, it's sold in two-way, in a sense that it could cut both ways. It's possible that you might get expedited approvals, but the same thing could happen with competition also. And to that extent, you'd find the intensity of competition rising. But the good thing about it is that if your pipeline is rich and if you have a pretty large pipeline, you would stand to benefit in the short to medium term.
Okay, and Renvela generic, when can we expect some clarity on that?
I'm sorry, you're speaking about the product?
Yes, the product Renvela. You have applied for it, correct?
Yes, we do. So we do expect. So we had a CRL, some time ago. We did answer that. We are expecting approvals, but we do think it is going to be first quarter next year launch.
Okay.
So, Ramesh, I just want to come back to sort of an outlook kind of a question. When we spoke to you a couple of months back, you had indicated that maybe FY19 also has to be sort of, discounted as a year of consolidation and looking at building a more complex portfolio. Now with this launch, and I don't know if Renvela happens, in the next couple of months, could FY19 be a growth year for the company?
So there are a few interesting products lined up for next year. So we do speak, you spoke about Renvela, and we also have Renolazine, so that is another good product, levothyroxine, which could also be a decent product. So all of those could be potential launches for FY19. So to that extent, there are possibilities for for good growth next year. But having said that, FY20 is when we think that things could be much better for us. For sure, when I spoke about growth next year, I did not take into account the inorganic pieces such as Solosec. So to that extent, what we are speaking about is essentially only the organic piece.
So more inorganic pieces might get added in FY19, strategic and revenue yielding ones?
We are committed to actually developing a specialty franchise, especially the women's health portfolio, and there are a few things which are still being considered. I can't put a timeline to it, but for sure, we are very aggressive.
If you had to break it up, Ramesh, we're just running out of time. Would it be more acquisition, say, in the branded women's healthcare space? Because now you have Methagene as well as Solosec, so you want to top that particular section up? Or are you looking at different specialities / different complex generics? Would it be drug specific? Would it be maybe company specific?
So it is going to be a combination of all of that. We would certainly be interested in taking our women's health franchise forward. And for sure, we're looking at the pediatric space also. So we've always had a historical interest in that. So that was Suprax and a host of other products. And for sure, the complex generics is something which is going to come out of our own stable. The respiratory portfolio, the more, difficult to make injectables and all of that. So I think the future does look exciting with all of this coming through, from perhaps next year and the subsequent years.
Okay, so more deals perhaps coming in, Ekta?
Yeah, just a quick last question. Would the deal size be enough for you to probably fund it via internal accruals, the same that you did with this particular company? Or would it probably be something that you'd maybe look to lever your balance sheet with? A size for the acquisition targets?
For sure, I think both are possible. The internal acquisitions could take care of a lot of these, if our sweet spot is $150 to $200 million, so for sure this can be met by internal accruals itself. But the series of that, obviously, we should be looking at, in fact, funding from outside. And we do, and you realize we have the capacity to raise quite some monies on our balance sheet.
All right, Ramesh, interesting chat as always. Thank you so much for taking out the time and good luck with your plans. So that's... I thought, Ekta, that was a very interesting conversation, and there is a very clear marked change in the last 6 months in how the company's body language is coming across. Maybe it's acquisitions the way to go to fill those gaps for specialty drugs and maybe make sure that FY19 is a growth year as well.
And clearly the market has taken that message, or so it seems.
Yes, absolutely. I think specialty complex is the way to go in the US, and developing the drug, getting approval takes a long time. I mean, if you just acquire a company with a great drug, you just expedited the process.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, on that note, we have to take a break. But coming up next, the Lakshmi Vilas Bank stock is in focus as well.